It's another video on Next Vision to Here. Welcome to it. We're going to get into a bucket list today. A bucket list of a different kind, as you probably saw in the thumbnail. We're going to delve into the green bucket, the yellow bucket, and the red bucket of your NDIS plan. Now, what I'm going to point out today is where things sit so that you know what is prioritized if your funding is reduced. This is a really important video for you. So it's aimed at the participants and family members of NDIS participants. So let's get into it. So what is in your green bucket? These are your essentials. This is your everyday life. So let's put that into a bucket. If you need daily grooming, if you need assistance to get out of bed, if you need assistance to cook your meals on a daily basis, this is where this funding sits in your green bucket. Daily transport needs. If you do paid or voluntary work and you need assistance to travel there with a service provider, that's where this money sits. Also, what sits in this green bucket is transport money for public transport, whether that be taxis, buses, or trains. That's in your daily needs list. So that's why it sits in the green bucket. Let's now delve into the yellow bucket. So the yellow bucket is more for periodic appointments like a podiatrist, a psychologist, a speech pathologist. These are specialist care appointments that you need as part of your NDIS plan, but they're not used on a daily basis. They're periodic, so they may be used every couple of months. That's why they're in the yellow bucket. Also, what sits in the yellow bucket is irregular transport funding. This is where you might choose to go to an event once every couple of months. That's where this sits. So it might be going to the footy. It might be getting a service provider to take you to a friend's birthday party. It may be a group activity that the service provider is running. That's where this money sits. It sits in the yellow bucket. Now let's move to the red bucket. This is the one you've got to guard with caution. And the reason I say this is because this is where the compliance sits. So this is where the compliance providers sit. These are service coordinators and plan managers and occupational therapists. Their money sits here in the red bucket. Why is it there? It's a savings account. It's designed so that you can use that funding when needed, and it's there when you need it. So it's not used on a daily basis to completely wipe itself out and you've got none left. Let's leave so much of that money in the red bucket for this reason. But you need to keep a very good eye on the providers spending this money, because this is where this gets out of hand. Plan management and service coordination can absorb up your money very quickly without you even knowing it, because you don't know what that person's charging you for in your plan if you're plan managed. If you're self-managed, you can have a look at it, because if you're self-managed, you know how to look at invoices. That's a key factor. So what else sits in there? Well, these are your consumables. These are the goods that you need. If they're under $1,500, you don't need an occupational therapist to help you. So you still leave some money in this savings account for those consumer goods under $1,500. The over $1,500 needs to sit in here as well. This is so that if you need the occupational therapist to write those reports, there is money there for you for the actual service to be provided. When you get the money from the NDIS approved, it needs to sit in the red bucket. The reason is so that it sits there for its specific use. It's not used for anything else. That's why it sits in the red bucket. So the green bucket stays full at all times. It has to be. This is the bucket that you guard with your safety shield as though your life depends on it. These are things that you need every day. The yellow bucket is for occasional things you need, as I say, periodic appointments and irregular transport funding. You need all that in a yellow bucket to cover those extras you need. This is where they may start pulling your funding down. This is one where they start to look and go, you know what, you don't really need as much with that, so start pulling it down. You don't guard these. They're extras that you need to live your life, but they're not daily. The red bucket is where I think they really need to start reining this in. This is where most of the problems are arising with the NDIS. It's at the compliance level. So in my opinion, it's plan managers, service coordinators, and occupational therapists. These are people that operate in the system, and they know how the system works. Well, it's about time the system audits them to make this compliance better value for money for you as the participant and your family. So that's why the red bucket is really important for you to keep a very good eye on if you have the chance to. Hope this helps today, giving you a bit of a guide through the NDIS minefield by putting it in simple buckets. Now, wouldn't this be great if their app and website worked this way, where you could actually navigate it really easy with 3 buckets: green bucket, yellow bucket, and red bucket. Or they could simply put a picture of a traffic light and you click on the appropriate traffic light. Wouldn't that make life easy? But they won't do it because they don't want to make your life easy. I'm Nick Pollock from Nick's Vision to Hear. You have a great day, and I'll look forward to your company sometime in the future. Talk to you soon.